Thank you for the question. I think there are many companies that are starting to understand why biodiversity is important to them. I think there are three risks. Firstly, I think there's a risk to business of losing their brand reputation. And we've seen many examples of consumer boycotts of companies that are associated with the loss of species. Secondly, I think companies are seeing that they need biodiversity to maintain their production systems. In agriculture, for example, business depends on pollination in order to maintain yields. Thirdly, I think more and more businesses are starting to see market opportunities in biodiversity. If we lose biodiversity, then the biotechnology industry has less prospect and less growth opportunity. So those are the three I would mention. I think more and more companies are starting to see biodiversity not just as a cost, not just a burden, but as a real positive business opportunity. I think partly that's in response to changes in consumer demand. More and more customers of business are demanding green products and services, biodiversity-friendly products, and by responding to that change in consumer preference, companies can make more money. They can gain a larger market share, they can get better prices for their products. I think there are two other big drivers of biodiversity as a business opportunity. One is helping companies secure essential natural resources. So for example, we see in many countries payments for ecosystem services, payments for watershed protection. And companies there are finding that it's more cost-effective to protect their water supply by paying farmers and foresters to manage the hillsides and watersheds in a better way. Another driver is liability and responsibility for biodiversity risk. We talked before about risks to brand and reputation. I think many companies are seeing that they can help those who have risks respond to those risks. So business services such as restoration or offset supply, there are companies who are providing those kind of restoration and management services to big businesses that have risks in the public eye. I think the first step is to get to know what are your impacts and dependencies on biodiversity. And we have tools such as the Ecosystem Service Review, developed by the World Business Council for Sustainable Development and the World Resources Institute, which can help companies understand how they relate to biodiversity. Having done that, I think the next step is to measure and report on your biodiversity footprint and your impacts and your actions in response to that. Companies can develop biodiversity strategies and policies. They need to develop management systems that reward their employees for taking action to support biodiversity, and they can communicate what they're doing to the public, to their consumers, to their shareholders, and participate in policy dialogue with government to try to create more biodiversity-friendly markets.